Hello and welcome to Power to the People with me, Graeme Pryce. It had to happen eventually. It's been a while since I've put on my waders and wandered into the bottom half of the internet to dig out a few nuggets of sheer right-wing twattery. And it's a fetid and often intellectually barren land of desolate dissing and moribund mockery. Nah, I'm only having you on. I love the comment section, really. I still sit and read every single comment, and I do try to respond to as many as I can. I started the channel because my friends would say I bored them with talk about politics, so I set out to find a better place to discuss it, and 18 months later, here we are. There's inevitably an underclass of people who are about as quick as a glacier, though, aren't there? You know, the type that you look at and you think, your train of thought is a replacement bus service and it's broken down on the M56, hasn't it, mate? Those type of people. You know the saying, half the people in the world are below average intelligence. As you'd imagine, a lot of them support Elon Musk or Nigel Farage or Kemi Badenoch or Donald Trump or Tommy fucking Robinson. So it was no surprise that quite a few people decided to prostrate themselves on the altar of stupidity in the comments section of my latest video about them. I thought I'd share a few of the standout examples with you right after this. I was just looking at my channel analytics and I noticed that 53% of people who watched my videos weren't subscribed. The pain. Come on, just have a quick check that you've subbed, liked and rang the bell. Make a skinny old scouser a little bit happier today. We're starting off basic, but with a strong sentiment. Ryan Adamson 4187 says, "Learn your facts, you twat." Now obviously, I knew there would be some people whose IQ is lower than their waist size commenting, but generally I do remove comments that are just pointless insults from these crayon munching dim bulbs. I thought this one was ironic though, because anybody who has the mental competence to learn any facts about Tommy Robinson would know he is the biggest twat of all, wouldn't he? I guarantee that I learned more about Waxy Lemon in the few days before making that video than Ryan has learnt about anything in his life. Next up, Amory TP3ND says, "What a load this video is. Sorry I kicked on it." I'm sorry you kicked on it as well, Amory. I was hoping to get some people responding who could use, some small words and their solitary brain cell to explain what it is they like about Tommy Bad Nobbinson. It seems to have been beyond you, doesn't it? For the record, I replied politely to Amory and thanked them for their comment, along with asking them to explain exactly why they support Stiff One Flaxy Gammon. But there was no response, obviously. Linda Rogers 8095 took the time out of her busy schedule just to write this in the comment section. No attempt whatsoever to explain where anything I had said was bullshit. No real engagement of any kind. Just someone who saw Tommy in the thumbnail and was triggered by the title and decided to do the online version of screaming like a toddler because she didn't want me spitting facts about her favourite racist grifter. Isabel Sibald 887 says, "What's this guy on?" Isabel, you need a question mark at the end of that, love. And I'm not on anything. I don't even drink anymore. Maybe you should lay off the Glens vodka though, and you wouldn't be quite so easily gaslit and pathetically fooled by right-wing populists who want you to fund their next 3-gram bag of sniff on the beach in Cyprus. Tony1515 says, "Well, after this week's events, it's just been proved that he was right about the Muslim rape gangs from day one. Even the pure left can't hide from the truth. I suppose we can give Tony credit for knowing more than a few words, and he even used a comma properly. But by this week's events, I guess he means the event in which Elon Musk told him to be angry about something that happened ages ago in order to make him angry with the government. No, Tommeh isn't right about the Muslim rape gangs. He stood in a courtroom and admitted he lied about people because he wanted to incriminate them. Several times he's done that now, and he's pleaded guilty to several crimes relating to deliberately misleading the public about the Muslim rape gangs as well. So, he's not been proved right about anything. What he has done is taken a seed of something that is true and planted it in your little brain, watered it with lies and racism, tended it with years of bullshit, and watched it grow into a tree of sheer ignorance and malleable stupidity. The pure left. The pure fucking left, lad. Pure leftism, mate. Pure. Fuck's sake. Okay, brace yourself for this one. We've got a fully paid up, possibly coked up, probably pissed up, but certainly riled up member of the caps lock keyboard warrior tribe up next. Lee Van Hallam says, "Not sure about you. If Tommeh is a twat, what does that make you? I don't see you going to prison for your beliefs. It seems to tar and feather all the same in your small-minded way. What are you adding to the mix? I would say nothing positive, eh?" Tommeh pleaded guilty, mate. That means he admitted his guilt. That means he did do the thing he was imprisoned for. And that thing was not his beliefs. He's in prison because he committed a crime. A crime that he hasn't denied committing and has pled guilty to. He is not in prison because he believes all Muslims are evil. That is incorrect. Dumbass. My beliefs would not land me in prison because they don't include believing I have the right to commit crimes that could result in a prison sentence. Do you have beliefs that could land you in prison if someone found out about them? What about? Are you having dark thoughts, Lee? You can get help for that, The rest of your comments is meaningless nonsense, and that isn't how you spell positive either. But I do assure you my mind is anything but small compared to yours. And as you ask, I do contribute quite positively to my community, yeah? Do you? No. Thought not. You proper dingus. Get back in the sea and finish evolving. I've got a very, very short one for you next. But I do think it says something quite interesting in just a few short letters. Margaret Troisy 6805 says, "You Travis." Are you alright, Margaret, love? Do you need us to call someone for you? I'm hoping that Margaret just fell asleep while trying to call me a twat, because one of the other options is that you can't actually spell twat. I thought maybe it could be an abbreviation of total wankstain, but I think that level of comedic subtlety is probably beyond those who fall at the feet of Gacky Gobinson, isn't it? Next up, Mary G4I9W said, "Even your dog is bored to death with your crap." No, the dog is nearly 14 years old. She's totally blind and she's half deaf. The only thing she really gets excited about these days is cheese, comfy places to sleep, and the central heating being on. Tell you what I'm bored to death with, though. I'm bored to death with idiots like you who are too fucking spineless and lazy to think for themselves and let the literal most bigoted, racist and dishonest people in the country tell you what to think, who to hate, and when to believe that black is white and shit smells of roses. I'm bored to death of people that base their whole life on 18 words that some rich prick on Twitter has said, and then come along and try to argue with people who actually understand things and look for facts instead of just letting utter twats with disgusting agendas enthrall them. My dog isn't bored, she's just old. But she's probably fucking smarter than you. John Charles, M9G, says, "You took down my comment, then because you couldn't answer it, I suppose. Goodbye, twat." No, John, I don't really delete comments, very rarely. As you can see, yours has not only got through, but been mentioned in my video, despite you calling me a twat. Now, I appreciate that you've tried to use, my funny spelling of the word twat there. I can see that you probably quite like me, really, and if we had the same views on Tommeh, then, we'd probably be mates, wouldn't we? Yeah. If I believed Tommeh's lies like you do, we could have a pint in Wetherspoons and talk about how much we hate the immigrants and how we need someone like Tommeh to save the UK, eh? No, we fucking couldn't, you complete bellend. And that isn't how you spell my version of twat either. The symbol is an @ symbol. There's already a T in it. The way you've done it means there's 2 T's on the end of it. You have the dubious honour of being the second person that is a waxy lemon fan today that couldn't spell the word twat for some reason. If you're going to insult me, at least spell it right. I mean, I expected very little from you lot, but yet somehow I'm still disappointed. We can make a good point with this next one, though. I hadn't deleted John Charles's comments. What I suspect had happened is that he'd used words that had been flagged as being possibly offensive by YouTube, and his messages had gone to my pending approval file. Now, bear in mind that there isn't usually really anything in the pending approving file. But when there is, it's invariably some gob on legs calling me a lefty twat or something like that. So I only check it once a day. I'd imagine John didn't get an immediate reply to what he wrote, and he couldn't see his comment straight away. So therefore he worked himself into a quivering pile of gammon rage and, "They're ignoring me. Why are they not answering me? I want to tell you why I hate you and why you're wrong. Listen to me." Anyway, the comment he's referring to is this. "Here's a radical idea. Why doesn't the government allow one of the main channels to show the silence documentary with a live audience debate afterwards, and then the public can make up their own minds instead of being told what to think?" The irony of some plebeian dunce that supports Tommy Robinson thinking everybody else is being told what to think is just not lost on me, believe me. But in answer to the question, there's one good reason why none of the main channels show it, John. It's because it isn't true. Now, listen carefully, because I'm only going to be polite, for a minute longer. And there is a fundamental truth that you need to hear. Tommy Robinson admitted in court to the judge that he told lies about the people in the documentary in order to further his goals. He hasn't been accused of that, but said, "No, I stand by everything I said in the documentary." No, he didn't refuse to accept guilt in the cases related to it. No, what he did was he stood in a courtroom and admitted that he said things in that documentary that were untrue and slanderous. He said that himself. The court transcripts are available. The reason nobody will show his documentary, it's not because it's an honest and accurate and hidden portrayal of events. It's because he's not a credible journalist with a successful career behind him. He's a lying ex-football hooligan who turned to racial grifting in order to make a living. No channel would show a documentary that contains inflammatory misinformation. You fucking cretin. He left another comment, but it was even more stupid than the first. You can go read it though, it's still there. I'm not giving him any more airtime though. Why would I delete comments like that? They prove my point perfectly. They prove that almost all right-wing people are about as sharp as a carrier bag full of soup. Right, well, finally, there is one more comment that I just couldn't let go, and it's quite the essay, so strap yourself in for this one. This guy had some very strong and very deluded ideas. Check this out. Bob the Builder, L9D, said, "You've got no critical thinking skills at all, chap. Just another left-wing ped sympathiser with no morals and even less brains. You don't have the ability to even smarten yourself up and have a wash before posting your imbecilic left-wing diatribe. Every real decent person in this country knows exactly what you and your lefty ped sympathiser mates are about. You ain't fooling no one. Get out of your hovel and into the real world instead of sitting there masturbating on your filthy couch watching brainwashing left-wing media, and find out how the real world works beyond your small-minded, limited viewpoint. Don't speak about real men until you become a real man, which, in your case, will be never. You are an embarrassment to Britain. You're an embarrassment to your parents. You're an embarrassment to every right-thinking person on the planet. You are the exact reason Britain has now become a disgusting place to live. I would say shame on you, but you have none, and neither does anyone that follows your warped left-wing narcissistic ideology. Now crawl back under the rock you slithered out from." Well, there's quite a lot to unwrap with that one, isn't there? Let's just get the first thing straight. Nobody with any critical thinking skills follows Tommy Robinson, because people with critical thinking skills would learn that he was a twat before, deciding to fall in love with him and get a crush on him like you seem to have done. I don't care whether you think I look smart or not. I'm not trying to pull your beer guts and Union Jack tattoos aren't really my thing. As for my couch, I live on my own with 2 elderly dogs. I'm not really that house proud. The presentableness of my sofa is not high on my list of priorities. You go ahead and explain how the state of my sofa can have any bearing on any of the things I said about Tommy Robinson, though. I mean, feel free. I love the sheer nonsensical non-sequitur of this sentence in his comment. "Don't speak about real men until you become a real man, which in your case will be never." A grown man wrote that sentence. A grown man so stupid he's been completely radicalised by an obvious and blatant grifter on social media. Imagine that, being your dad. You're talking to your mate. "What does your dad do?" "Oh, my dad's a postman, does a bit of joinery on the side. He's been married to my mum for over 33 years now. Yeah, he was hilarious at Christmas after he'd had a few Baileys. Like, what does your dad do?" "Oh, I don't spend much time with my dad nowadays. He's a delivery driver, but he sits in his van looking at Twitter and Facebook between jobs and then goes home and watches GB News. Believes any old shite that he reads as long as he thinks the people saying it are speaking the truth and he likes what he hears. He's always causing arguments at family get-togethers these days because he makes everything about immigrants or Muslims. Mum sleeps in a different bedroom now. She said that ever since he got the tattoo of Nigel Farage on his back, she feels like she's in some sort of racist threesome every time she's in bed with him. She caught him searching for topless pictures of Andrew Tate on Google the other day. That's you, that is, Bob, you gullible idiot. Have you noticed that you get asked to family events or nights out less and less often lately? Have your friends started drifting away? What'll happen now is that you'll end up with just a few friends left. Coincidentally, all the ones that have also fallen for the exact same right-wing propaganda that you have, and probably occasionally have a guilty wank over Tommeh Robinson. You'll be in a little echo chamber, so that's why you think you represent the majority, Bob. But you don't. That's why the racist thugs were outnumbered hundreds to one once the public had had a couple of days to organise counter-protests last summer. You're not a majority. You're a loud minority. And you're an embarrassingly gullible and quite nasty dumbass. Do you realise how fucking stupid some of what you said is? You absolute moron. How can you let yourself be brainwashed to the point where you think like that? Do you just go around calling everybody that you don't like a paedophile, or do you just restrict that for people that you think are on the left? Who the fuck do you think you are to be using words like that? Because you're fucking dumb enough to swallow plate after plate of bullshit that Tommeh Robinson serves up for you. You need to give your head a wobble, mate. The sheer delusion, ignorance and venom in your comments was absolutely disgusting. If you think it's alright to talk to people like that just because they have a different viewpoint, a more well-researched and understood viewpoint than you, then I can only conclude that your elevator doesn't go all the way to the fucking top, mate. You're not playing with a full deck, are you? Sort yourself out, you fucking idiot. Thank you for watching, if you've gotten this far. It turned out to be a bit longer than I expected, but I do enjoy making these videos and highlighting some of the insanity, spitefulness and hypocrisy that is raging amongst right-wing movements around the country at the moment. I suppose, this kind of lashing out was to be expected. The media lied and lied and lied again daily for 14 years to keep the Tories in office. Through thick and thin, they steadfastly refused to report accurately about anything that would cast the Tories in a bad light until they absolutely had to. And even then, they'd get the likes of Laura Kuntzberg to go out and spin it as positively as possible, wouldn't they? And then the Daily Mail would run a front page saying it was all lies, even if it wasn't. And then the Tories had sent out a load of dickheads that would sit on live TV and insist it was all somebody else's fault, and the cockshafts that it was supposed to be interviewing with them would let them get away with this. And yet all of that. Oh, and then we had Farage, didn't we? As soon as he come back to sit on his throne of spite and shite, they started thrusting him into our faces every day as well, didn't they? And yet, it didn't work. Remember that we still ignored it, generally, as a nation. And we elected over 500 left-wing to centrist MPs. And we reduced the right to their lowest levels in years and years and years and years. This idea that they are the silent majority it's just bullshit. What they are is a very loud minority, though. And, you know, they're smart with social media, and they're even more economical with the truth. Who knows when and where the two circles orbiting like seagulls over a stinking tip full of shite that are Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage will collide again, and what will happen when they do. I tend to think a lot of Tommy's supporters are reform voters, because, you know, they're people who are very easily deceived, aren't they? Especially where immigration or Islam is concerned. Anyway, what more can we say? I think I might need to have a little lie down on me filthy communist couch after I've done filming. As always, if you want to support the channel, there are links for Patreon, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee and everything skeptically lurking in the descriptions box. And the join button for memberships is below as well, where it always is. Now, that isn't all I have to say, but it is as much of what I've got to say as I'm going to say today. Ta-ra-la. Rapan, we've done it. Filmed everything. It only took us bloody 4 hours. And you've stayed there patient with your dad all that time, haven't you? Yeah. Yes. She's thinking, where else would I bloody go?